Hi, this is Gretchen. In this video, we'll cover insurance requirements for OWEB grantees. It is the responsibility of each organization to make sure they have adequate insurance to cover their activities, especially activities paid for with OWEB dollars. When you apply for an OWEB grant, consider if your current insurance covers all the proposed activities. We recommend a proactive call to your insurance provider to help you choose your insurance options wisely. This is particularly important if your proposed project is different than your normal projects. For instance, if your organization regularly does culvert replacements but wants to embark on a dam removal project, call your insurance representative to discuss the potential for a change in insurance. All OWEB grants require general liability with a minimum amount of $1 million per occurrence and $2 million annual aggregate, and auto liability minimum amount of $1 million combined single limit. OWEB's boilerplate language for insurance can be found in our grant agreement, usually under Part Q, Insurance. OWEB can pay for general liability insurance costs through our indirect budget category or through the other budget category on Watershed Council and SWCD capacity grants. Remember, however, that auto insurance is figured into the personal vehicle mileage rate and should be covered as part of that rate. Some projects may require additional insurance. Examples include complex projects or activities including the public. Any additional insurance policy specifically needed to complete an OWEB project may be charged to the grant in the other category. If your application is successful and you are awarded an OWEB grant, you will need to fill out Exhibit E in your grant agreement and mark whether or not additional insurance is required. Broadly speaking, additional insurance may be required for projects involving construction, restoration, technical design, assessment, or monitoring. Contractors play a big role in restoration work, bringing technical experience to complex projects. Grantees need to make sure their contractors are also meeting the minimum insurance requirements. The exception is when facilitation, website design, or data analysis are the only services provided by the contractors. Then they don't need to meet these insurance standards. Landowners are considered contractors, and insurance requirements can apply to them. It's worth having a conversation with landowners about what will happen if something goes wrong. Landowners working on their own property may be exempt from insurance requirements, but that possibility should be discussed before work starts. Here are 3 flags that might indicate additional insurance will be required. The presence of any of these items does not affect how a review team evaluates a project application and does not decrease the application's competitiveness. It just means that additional insurance may be required. Flag 1. Hazardous Materials. Any grant where employees or the public may be working with hazardous materials may require additional insurance. A common example is the need for pesticide or herbicide applicator coverage. However, having one type of hazardous materials insurance does not necessarily preclude the need for other coverage. If you plan to spray for weeds using an aircraft, you will need additional insurance. Flag 2. Working with the public. Volunteers are wonderful, but they can bring challenges. Insurance is about preparing for a worst-case scenario. If you're planning to bring volunteers into your project, consider adding an abuse or molestation rider to your existing policy. If you are planning on transporting volunteers on water, ask your insurance agent about a policy for that. Flag 3. Earthmoving. If your project includes changes to the landscape, particularly when earth moving around a well is involved, you should review your insurance coverage. If you are removing structural barriers that hold back water, you should also review your insurance coverage. If any of the 3 flags apply to your grant, fill out a State of Oregon risk assessment as part of your grant application process. It will show you the amounts and type of insurance that OWEB will require if you are successful in obtaining a grant. DAS stands for Department of Administrative Services. They help oversee OWEB and all other Oregon agencies to ensure we have a standard set of policies. The risk assessment form is used by state agencies to determine what insurance they should require from a contractor. It's not a perfect fit for OWEB grantees, but it's our best available tool. To find the form, go to the DAS website and look for Risk Assessment Toolkit. Select Risk Assessment Tool and Contractor Insurance Requirements. This moves you to a page with a great deal of information. We will download this form: Tool, Services and Goods, Contracts, and Grant Agreements. Once the form is downloaded to your desktop, open it. The form typically opens to the table of contents. There are several tabs at the bottom, but you don't have to use all of them. Start with tab 3, Assessment, Services and Goods. There is a lot of text, so it might look intimidating, but the intention of it is simple. Start with, what is the scope of service? In step 2, answer the questions shown, such as what could go wrong and who might be harmed. In essence, this form is helping you identify risks. Step 3 has you think about the severity of these risks with further questions. How severe could an injury be? What would be the financial impact? In step 4, consider the likelihood that any of these accidents are likely to happen by answering the questions there. After answering the questions on tab 3, move to tab 4. Because you know what could go wrong, you will be able to easily work through the form and answer the questions designed to help you evaluate risk. Based on the answers to these questions, tab 6 will fill itself in, and thus you will be left with a precise list of the kinds of insurance your organization should secure prior to implementing the project. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please contact Courtney Schaff.